Hey, thanks for stopping by at Twisted Art Designs. It's time to play in our Julie Nutting Paper Doll Altered Book project. My book is getting a little bit gaitered because it's got so many thick and wonderful things in here. But it's just fun and I love it. I hope you're having fun doing yours too. So let's get started and do another layout. And for my book, I could do probably 2 more small layouts in the back here. But the one that I have in mind is going to take up a little bit of space. So I think I'm going to make this be the last layout in my book. And everybody's book is different. So, you know, you're going to play in your book and make as many layouts as you want. Maybe you don't want it to be this gaitered in the front, so you only make your book with 5 layouts. Maybe you have a fatter book with a bigger spine on the back and you can add more layouts. So just play and make yours however you want to make yours. I'm just showing you for inspiration. So this was our last one, was the mermaid scene, and now this one is going to be really fun too, just something different and fun to try. So what I'm going to do for the back of my book, I'm going to take a couple pages, probably 2 or 3, and I am going to put those down to the back of the book to have a nice solid background. And then I've got this over here that I might add just 1 more to cover up from my spinner on that page. So I might put 1 here, and I'm going to remove a nice little chunk of pages so that I have lots of room for this one to play in. So I'm going to do that first. And for this idea, you will need at least 5 of your Julie Nutting stamps. So grab 5. It could be any of them, any style, any one that you like. Grab 5 of your stamps and I'll show you my idea. I'm using a few new ones that have come to my stash. I just want to thank the followers who have sent Happy Mail recently. Flora, Mimi, and Carol, thank you for the lovely gifts. This one I found out her name is Phoebe, so it's another Phoebe. I guess there were 2 different Phoebes. So I'm going to be using that one. There's Valentina. She's just darling. I've never used that one. I've never used Brie. I've never used Camille. So that's why I'm kind of pulling from my new ones to use some of the ones I haven't tried before. So the first thing you're going to want to do is to find something a little bit heavy that you're going to use as your base. Either some light cardboard from product packaging, or this is just scrap pieces of file folder, so it's still folded, and I may even glue it together. You're going to want these to be a little bit stiff, and I think what I might even do is stamp these like I normally do onto cardstock, decorate them, cut it out, and put it down to this. That'll make it even stiffer. You could use pages out of your book if you want to put pages together and put them aside and let them dry. Those will make a nice stiff backing if you use like 4 or 5 sheets out of a book and you put them together with Mod Podge. I'm just too eager to get started and don't want to take the time, so I'm going to use these 5 pieces of leftover file folder as my bases, and I'll show you why you want it to be stiff. I'm using my Ranger Dilutions journal block as my stamp platform, and I'm going to just go ahead and ink her and stamp her. Like I said, I'm going to stamp her out onto cardstock paper and decorate each one as I normally do with layering them with all kinds of fun things. But just to get the base down, what I want to do here, my pieces of file folder are a little bit small for what I need, so I'm going to have to do it on an angle, which is perfectly fine, like this. I'm going to get her as far up to the corner as I can get her, like that. Stamp it out, and that's going to just give me my little base. Next, you're going to need a circle, and you don't want it to be too big. You could use a quarter. I'm just grabbing one of my paints, and I'm going to just put it down here, and I'm going to trace around it and cut it out. I have circle punches, but they're in the other room, and I don't feel like hunting them down, so I'm going to just make one. So you just want to have a circle, and you're going to use that same circle over and over again. And then what I want to do is just draw that circle trace that circle around and up to both sides of her like this. Okay, so you're going to do that on each one of your girl's base. The base only, not the girl that you decorate. So each base, and when you cut it out, you're going to cut around this circle as part of the, so you're going to cut down the area, get to here, cut around the circle, leaving the circle attached, and cut them out like that. Each one is going to have its own base. And then once you have all the bases created, then go ahead and stamp, decorate your girls, layer them, add your frou-frou and your fun, and you'll have 5 bases and 5 girls, and then the girls will get glued onto their bases. Or you could decorate and layer them up from the base. Either way, doesn't matter. There's no right or wrong, but the object here is that each one will have this same circle at the bottom and just below their feet. And I think so, to save some time and to make it easier so you don't have to cut your girl out twice, cutting the base and then cutting your doll and then gluing them together, it makes more sense to layer on top of your base and then cut them both out together. You're going to get a nice clean edge and you're only going to cut once. So what I'll do is put glue inside this, glue it down, glue my doll on top of this doll, and then I'll cut the whole thing out at one time. So here's my first one on the circle. So that's what it looks like when you trim it out and you leave that circle at the bottom. I just layered her right on top of this and trimmed it all at once. I had to cut these little pieces out with an X-Acto knife. And I added some cute little things to decorate her. She's really cute. I love it. So that's what you want to do. You want to make 5 different dolls and then do that circle at the bottom all the same and layer them up and get them decorated, and then I'll show you the next step for my idea. I just had a quick tip I wanted to share. I'm working on this one and I'm getting ready to cut this out, and there's some spaces that need to be cut out with an X-Acto knife. If you use an X-Acto knife and do a lot of detail cutting work in making your Julie netting paper dolls instead of scissors, I use X-Actos a lot. And you can go broke buying X-Acto blades for every time these get dull, which they get dull pretty quick when you're cutting cardboard or plastic or really thick pieces of layered cardstock. Your knife blade gets dull really quick. So I just wanted to give this little tip. I have this is a knife sharpening stone, so it is really for knives, and I use it for my X-Acto blades. So whenever my blade gets dull, I just come to my little sharpening stone and I just run this across like this a couple of times this way on this side and a couple of times this way on this side on the sanding stone. And now, let me zoom in here. It'll cut like butter all over again. And I've been doing this for probably 2 or 3 years, and I have not purchased any X-Acto blades since. Because it sharpens them really nice. It puts that fine point tip right back on it. And then you can come back in and do your cutting. So I just wanted to share that quick tip. So here are my 5 girls on their little circles, and they're all decorated and ready to go. So now what I'm going to do is put them aside and move on to the next step. And this is going to be put together at the last part, so I will show you my plan for this at the end. What you're going to want to do is you're going to want to stamp and create just the heads. So this can be the same dolls that you've already used, but I really think it might even be better to use different ones. So if you go to your stash, find some different dolls, find some with some really cute hairstyles, and you're going to stamp it and you're going to decorate it, and the only thing you're going to need is just about 1/4 of an inch down from the shoulders, about this much of it. So layer it, make the cute little heads, and you could do things with them with hats and things, but you don't want to make them too big. They're going to need to stay a little bit small. But I'm going to make probably about 7 or 8 little heads, and then I'll show you what I'm going to do with that. So here are my 8 little heads, all decorated and dimensional, super cute. and they're ready to go on the page when I'm ready for that. So now I'm going to need to put them aside. So I've created this circle, and how I did this was with a metal die cutting die, and I just used regular printer paper to make the white doily. I backed it in yellow cardstock. I did yellow distress ink around the edges. I used a compass to find center and make a circle where I wanted it to land, to put a circle in the middle here like this, and cut that out and distress the edges. I found my saying online. I printed it on my word processor, printed it onto white cardstock, distress the edges, and that's going to go on here. So that's going to get layered like this. The saying I'm using is, keep your circle of friends small, tight, and right. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to glue these 8 heads all the way around the circle coming out from behind it like this. So I need to make sure that I place it in my book and do the placing of it to make sure that it fits right on my page, because I don't want my little heads to stick out the side of the book. And then I'm going to glue them in, glue these 3 pieces together and glue all the heads behind, and have this piece ready to go on top of my background. So I've taken pages out of the book, and this is what it looks like. It's quite a bit of pages. You don't have to do this, but I really wanted a nice big space, and it's going to finish off my book perfect. So that's what I chose to do, is remove a bunch of pages. So when you have this like this, what I like to do with that is to try to cut those pages down with an X-Acto knife or scissors as closely as you can possibly get level. So what I like to do with those pages that are kind of like torn out and all kind of chunky is to take some scissors and just cut off as much of that as you can get off. Get it down as close as you can get it. If you're doing it with an X-Acto knife, you have to be kind of careful, because you don't want to cut your book pages that you've previously decorated. So that's why I'm choosing to use scissors. And I'm not too concerned about it. I mean, if you're super picky, then it might bother you, but it's not going to bother me in the least. So what I'm going to do is just to take some modeling paste. This is just plain modeling paste. And I'm going to put some modeling paste over that area where the pages are all really rough, because they have spaces in between them. And I'm going to just push that down in between the pages. Only reason I'm doing that is just to fill the spaces so that it will be a little bit flatter. It's just a good fix. It kind of fills in and makes it a little more of a smooth surface. And I'm going to cover it with material. Material is flexible, it bends, and you can paint over it, and that's what I want to do. So I'm just going to cut a strip of material, and I'm going to go cut or tear, it doesn't really matter, but I want it to be about 1.5 inches or 2 inches wide, just so it really covers that gutter. And that doesn't want to tear, so I will just cut it, doesn't matter. And then I'm going to apply that with some Mod Podge. So I'm going to put Mod Podge down this little gutter area and kind of spread it out with my paintbrush. And then I'm going to lay the material down that spine like that. And glue it down. That's actually too thick, too wide. Okay, made that a little bit thinner. It was too wide. You want it to go over onto this page and this page and cover that spot down the spine, just like that. It's just kind of almost like you would do on a repair if you had a book that started to come apart because it was old. This is how you would repair it. Same thing, using material and Mod Podge. So what this is going to do is this is going to cover up that crazy lumpy area in the spine that was created from removing all those pages in the back. And I want it to dry with it open. I don't care that when I close the book or start to close the pages that it's going to rumple up. I want it to look flat and smooth when it's dry. So I'm going to leave it laying open like this and completely let that dry. Then I'm going to come back in and I'm going to use paint and things to cover this, and you can paint right over material that you've used Mod Podge with. So I'll show you that when this is dry and I move on to the next step. Okay, so this is all nice and dry, so I'm going to paint my background, and I want it to be really, really dark because I want my bright colored girls to pop off the page. So this is a Chroma Josonia paint, and the color is Galaxy Blue, and it's a really, really deep, deep blue. And I will add some interest to the background, but I just want to add this really nice dark blue. It's not black, but it's gonna really make those girls pop. I held some other colors behind the girls and it just takes away from them. I want them to be the star of the show. So I'm just using my little cool tool I showed you the last time, and I'm gonna just go through and add paint and completely cover this background in paint. So I love how that paint covered that up. You can hardly even tell. I mean, it actually is more emphasized on camera than it is in person. But look how nice this pops. And I really want this to pop and the girls that are over here to pop. So because my saying has to do with a circle, I am going to add a few little circle elements just for some interest. So I like to find all kinds of things like toilet paper rolls and containers and things to make circles. And I think what color I'm going to use is yellow, a really bright yellow, because I really want it to pop. So I'm going to use this lemon yellow. This is a Dina Wakley paint. And so what I'm going to do is to just put some paint on my little paper here I'm using as a palette. And then I just like to tap it through the paint, the edge of your circle item. And let's see if I can make this work. It's kind of hard because these pages are textured from being a bit bumpy from all the things on the previous pages and whatnot, but that's okay. See? Look at perfect. That's what I want, is just some circles that are coming off the page onto the page. Just to go with this circle theme. You can kind of twist it a little bit. Just some really fun circles, and then maybe some circles of some other sizes. Here's a little round circle. This is just a little plastic tube. And I don't want too many because I really want to keep this sort of simple so that I don't interfere with how interesting and fun my girls are. Okay, that doesn't have enough paint. And a little bit more. And this is just some suggestions. This is how I'm doing mine. You can do whatever you want on your pages. I just like to show you my process to maybe have you try something, a technique maybe, or something that you haven't tried before in your book. It's always fun to learn something different. And see how that's just going to add something, but not take away from my girls. Just want something in the background. And I may do more, but I like to do backgrounds that are really, really full and wild and crazy, and I like to do simple. So this page to me just needs to stay simple. So I don't take away from my pretty girls. Okay, so I like that. I'm going to leave that and then let it dry. Okay, so to add my little circle of girls on this side, I've decided to use some pop-up. So this is just pop-up tape. You can get it from card making places. You can get it at the dollar store. So you just pop them on. They're sticky on the back. I mean, they're sticky on one side, and then on the other side you're going to have to peel off the little cover tapes. This is part of the reason why I wanted that big space in the book. I wanted this to pop up. And then the other girls too are going to take up some space. So, okay. So now I'm going to put this into place. I'm choosing to put that about right here. I like that popped up like that. Okay, so now to add the girls on this side. Okay, so what you want to do with your girls is you're going to want to decide how you want them layered. So one on top of the other. Decide who you want, how you want them to be layered in your book. I think I want this one, and then this one, and then this one maybe. So you just kind of have to play around until you get them the way you want them to be. Yeah, I like that. Okay, so once you have them layered, you're going to want to line them all up together. Line those circles up at the bottom. Get those circles all lined up so they're all even and match. And then I'm going to use a clamp to clamp it and hold them into place. And they're going to go right here in the book. And I want to get them as low as I possibly can. And I'm going to use my crocodile. So this is a crocodile tool, and I'm putting it on the smallest circle. So there's two sizes of circles that punch, and I'm going with the smaller one right here. And what I want to do is I want to punch this through the circles and through the book, and I want that to be as low as possible. So like making a little dot, this is where I'm going to want the circle to be. See if you can see that. Okay, and so I'm going to go through and punch these circles all together like this. Line them up in here and get them on the punch. And punch all through. So see, I've got a nice hole that goes through all of them equally. Now I can line it up in my book where I want them to go. And I can mark the page like this with a dot. And now I can use my crocodile to punch right through the cover of my book. So the Crop-A-Dowel has now poked a hole all the way through my book and through all 5 circles all lined up like that. And now I'm going to use a jeweled brad. This is a full-size regular brad. It's not a mini. It's a regular size brad with a gem in the middle of it. So it's got a really nice long tabs to it. And I'm going to put that through like this. And then through the book, the hole that you made in the book. And then I'm going to spread out the back of the brad onto the back of the book like this. And this will get covered up when I decorate my cover. So I don't really care that I've got it metal on the outside. You won't even see it when I do my book decor. So there's the brad on the outside, and now it is on the inside like this. So now what you can do is now you can fan out your girls in a circle, a half circle. So here's how it looked with the girls all fanned out in their half circle, my circle of girls, all their little heads around this, and keep your circle of friends small, tight, and right. So this is my circle of friends page, and I'm not done. I'm still going to do a little bit more decorating. I love the dark background, the very simplistic circles, so it doesn't take away from the colorful girls. And I just love this, having the girls where they can fan out like this and or layer each other like this. Super cute. And you can layer them out even further if you want. You can even go all the way and fan them all the way over like this, because they're circles and they're on their little platforms like that. So look at your cool circle of friends. So that was my fun idea for the last page in my book, was to have a circle of friends that fan out, and I love how it turned out. So I'm going to finish decorating with just some little fun touches, and then I'm ready to do my cover. I hope you enjoyed this. And see, look, it closes up perfectly and doesn't take up too much space in the book. Super cute, so much fun to do. I loved doing this circle here with all the heads. I think I'm going to add some decoration around the circle here, maybe some more in the background, I'm not sure. I'm going to play around with it, and then I'll come back and show you the very final finished result. I hope you enjoyed this page. I've added some paper doilies to the circles in the background and just a little bit of bling, some dots with some a dot paint pen. And then I added some decoration around the circle where the saying is. So I hope you enjoyed this, and it's so fun to see your girls when you fan them out in a circle. You can make your circle as big or as small as you want. Fan them all the way out. And you can see their cute outfits. It just really, really showcases the girls, and what a fun way to use your Julie netting dolls. So I hope you had fun, and that this will give you an idea of something new to try on your page to make a fanned out circle girls here with their circles that connect at the bottom, and then even this round circle of girls' heads with that cute saying about friends. So thanks for stopping by. Go have fun in your Julie Netting Paper Doll Altered book, and the next video for this project for me is going to be decorating the cover front and back, and then I am going to start on a volume 2. So I have a whole bunch more ideas and more pages I want to do, so I'm going to make a second book and make a second volume. After I finish the cover of this one, I'll get started on some more layouts. So this will just give you another fun idea for a layout, and then the continuation book will have a bunch more, so we'll keep playing and having fun using our Julie Netting rubber stamps. So thanks for playing along, and hope you're enjoying this project. There's a link in the description box below for where you can join a Facebook group and show what you create from the videos that I'm showing here with the ideas, and get inspired by some of the other people who are making an altered book with their Julie Netting stamps. Play and have fun, and go make art, because art soothes the heart.